In a press conference with law enforcement leaders, Governor Bill Lee said that he wants to improve relations between law enforcement and the community. But criminal justice advocates say the state still has a long way to go. Caresse Jackman joins us live right now in Nashville with some reaction from advocates. So, Caresse, what kind of issues do they think the governor should be focusing on now?
Well, Lauren, a lot of it has to do with something that's usually the big elephant in the room, and that is systemic racism. Advocates say that then and only then, if we address that problem, will we really and truly find solutions.
Tragic, preventable events across this country have caused all of us to confront the difference between law enforcement and police brutality.
What he's saying effectively is, from my perspective, it's just not realistic. It's lip service.
Dr. Sekou Franklin is an associate professor at MTSU and a member of the Community Oversight Now coalition. He feels the governor's announcement Thursday about police reform doesn't truly focus on community relations.
Why not announce something that's innovative that activists on the ground are talking about?
This week, the governor announced the state's working with various law enforcement agencies to enhance policies, improve information sharing, and increase officer training.
I believe we've got to be committed to a never-ending process of change, continuous improvement in all of our policing efforts. And that will include engaging in a greater way with communities. That's really what we want to do here, is build trust. When citizens trust law enforcement in a greater way than they do now, then we'll have better interactions.
But Dr. Franklin believes if we want to truly do this as a state, we need to take a hard look at systemic racism in the criminal justice system.
So the governor is going to have to reconceptualize his basic understanding of what is criminal justice reform. What does transformative criminal justice mean? It has to put at the intersection of criminal justice, policing, racism, economic and economic injustice. And until he does that, he is just not going to get it.
Revisiting legislation that narrows the reach of Community Oversight Board, Franklin says, is another factor.
And to reintroduce legislation that gives community oversight boards expansive authority with full community participation that involves that has subpoena, in which oversight boards have subpoena powers that can be fully accessed.
Lastly, Dr. Franklin says the governor should revisit cases where men and women are serving time in prison as a result of bad policing and unfair trials.
Look to the Tennessee Supreme Court's recent statement, if it goes through, to establish a commission to study racial equity, and to take that cue or that lead and to look at those individuals in Tennessee prisons who are there or who are overly convicted.
Now, we did air Governor Lee's press conference yesterday. We have that full recording on our website. If you'd like to take a look, go to WSMV.com. Tom?